Hi. So today I'm going to show you how to bring your furniture from Second Life into SineSpace. It's pretty easy. It's not as daunting as you think it is. The only thing that you probably are going to have to do, like what I did for this, is I did decimate the model in ZBrush. I definitely had more polys whenever I uploaded it into Second Life, just because Second Life you kind of need more polys to get the detail out of your normal maps. The shaders in ScienceBase though are amazing. You can get a lot of detail from the uh, from the maps in ScienceBase. Anyways, so here I have a model that I've already simplified. I've kind of touched up the UVs. I actually ended up completely redoing this in Substance Painter. I redid new textures and everything because I took off a very detailed mesh I had on the headboard piece. So to kind of simplify it for ScienceBase. So the first thing you need to know is that Unity, the program we're going to be working with for ScienceSpace, it uses Y as the northern direction. I don't know. So what you want to do is what I've found works for me is I move my pivot. In 3ds Max, you go to Effect Pivot Only, and you can move your pivot. Um, so I move my pivot to the center and then I move it to the bottom. So that it's kind of like, so that it'll, because what you want in Unity is you want it whenever someone in ScienceSpace reses it from their inventory, you want it to land on the floor and not like be underground or something. So what we're gonna do is because Y is up, I'm gonna go in here and I'm going to rotate this so that it is 90 degrees, and I'm going to put it at Y 0, and maybe even kind of just up it just a teeny tiny bit because I'd rather it be floating a little bit above the ground than being completely under it. And then I'm going to reset the transform so that it remembers this rotation data, convert it to an editable poly. Again, this is all already like I've already defined my material faces in this, so I mean, if you're watching this, I'm sure there are parts of this that you already know how to do. So, and then I'm going to go to my materials. I'm just going to quickly create a multi-sub object material. Whoops, hit the wrong one. And so I'm going to discard the old material, and then I'm just going to take two pictures. I'm just going to take the fabrics here and the woods here, and I'm going to drag this material onto here so that way it will remember those material faces whenever I bring it into Unity. So whenever you're exporting it, what you need to know is I use 3ds Max. I feel like that's an outlier in Second Life. I feel like most people probably are using Maya or something, but you do definitely want to make it so that it's an FBX file. I think OBJ works too, but I've found for me FBX is working perfectly. So I've already exported this. I just brought this up for the tutorial part. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go here, and we're gonna actually go into Unity. So I'm gonna open up the one that I've already been working on. I've already kind of been moving forward on getting this bed where I want to do it. Um, okay, so my screen recording software stopped. So let's see if I'll be able to edit this together into one video or not. So anyways, so we are in Unity. Um, Ignore this. This is like almost finished, but we're gonna just start over. Um, So you've never used Unity before. It's your first time opening it. You won't have any of these. You won't have any of these things in here. And uh, so you'll have to install the editor pack. So what you're going to do is you're going to come over here to the Unity Asset Store, um, if it'll load, and so you're going to search for SineSpace, and then you're going to download the Asset Store Partner import pack, and you're going to import it. It takes a long time. It's gonna ask you to reset your, it's gonna ask you to reset your client like 3 or 4 times or whatever. So it's fine. But so once you get it installed, you'll have one new menu. That's the SineSpace menu, which is where you can do all your SineSpace stuff. You need to make sure that after the editor pack is installed completely and you have this menu, you need to go to install editor pack settings, and you need to do that, and then you need to sign in to your account via Unity. So you'll do those two things. I'm already signed in. I've already installed that, so I'm not going to do it again. Um, so the next thing that you're going to do is, so we've exported our FBX from 3ds Max, and so now we're going to go and we're going to go to Quick Start, and we're going to import furniture. It's going to bring up this dialog box where you can select a file. So we're going to go to projects. I think it's called Claudine Bedroom, and then bed SineSpace. All right, Stephanie Bed Unity FBX. Now, you can change this information later, but we're just gonna call this Stephanie Bed Infinite Furniture, and we're just gonna call it. We're just gonna create the item. So whenever you create that, okay, got it. Now, we talked about this. Whenever someone reses something, you don't want it to look like it's on the floor in world. Um, whenever you're working with SineSpace, I just always go to new SineSpace scene. And there's a box right here that is like the floor. And so the box is already touching the floor, so your object is going to appear inside of it. Um, but it's in world, it's not actually going to be like that. So that's fine. You could just move it up for now, so that you can work on it. And then also something to note is that whenever you do import this, I've never done one of these, just side note, I've never done one of these videos, so it might seem jumbled. Um, so whenever you import it, it's going to come down here into your assets folder in Unity, and you're going to have this folder called SineSpace Prefabs, and that's where all your imported stuff is going to come into. Um, there's a step we're going to do later that where you're going to create a new prefab. So, this is just original files. So, but it will automatically appear in your scene. So, the next thing you want to do is I have a folder in my assets folder for all my furniture stuff now. So you're gonna need to you're gonna need to bring in all your materials. So you're gonna bring in your normal maps, your textures. I just did 2D view. I'm trying to kind of create low lag, so I just exported manually spec and normal maps in the 2D view with an ambient bake. Uh, what I've been doing in Substance Painter is I've been exporting the base color with just an ambient bake multiplied over top of it. So okay, so then you're gonna right click in here, and you're gonna go to create material. Now you can set these materials up, like I could have set these up in 3ds Max if I wanted to. I didn't feel like it. I just figured I'd make it in Unity. So we're gonna call this Blue Comforter Stephanie. And so we've made the blue comforter. Um, Now we're gonna put the materials in it. So this is the fabrics. So you want to have this clicked, and then you're going to drag this into your normal map. Whenever you import these, a couple of these settings, I do decrease them to 512 again. I'm just trying to create something that's low lag. You can have it higher. Um, the way items work in SineSpace is based off megabytes instead of prims. So, you're just going to have to see what works as far as how many megabytes you're using. Do make sure that with your normal maps specifically, you go up here to texture type after you import them and you just click on normal map and then hit apply right here, so that you will get your normal map. So, over here at the material, we put our normal map in it. Let's go ahead and put the albedo, which albedo is code for diffuse, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't get why it's called albedo. It's just weird. And then we're gonna bring in the specular map too, right there. We're gonna set the smoothness to like 0.2 because it's not metal. We're gonna drag that in there. Boom. Um, Easy day. So there's the blue. There's our blue comforter. Um, Now we're gonna go to the wood material, which I already have created. I did the same thing here. So we're just gonna drag that onto there too. Perfect. So let's rotate just go over here. This is your hierarchy. And one second. That's your hierarchy. Um, So you can just select the sun in there and you can rotate it so that you just get a different view. Whenever you select something in the hierarchy, it does come over here to your inspector where you can look at what the properties of that item in the hierarchy are. Um, okay. So then you can also test play your game in Unity, so I just like to do that just to check and make sure everything looks how I want it to. If you do select new SineSpace scene whenever you're doing your file, just leave it just as soon as you open a new SineSpace scene, if you hit play, it'll generate an avatar for you, and you'll be able to just do whatever with it. You can also use this whenever you're making like a region or something. You do have access to the full suite of Unity assets and Unity build tools. This is freezing my computer. Um, okay, so it's moving forward now. Let's X that out. All right. So, okay, so you can see here that here we are. So here's our bed. Boom. Looks great. Looks great in world. Missing a vital piece though. What is important for furniture is that you need to be able to sit on it. Side note, if you want to focus on one of the items in your scene while scrolling with your mouse wheel, press F and you'll focus on that item. Also, another good note is that sometimes you'll start out in isolation mode with your camera. If you just click this little box right here on like the view cube, it does change it to perspective. That's just how I prefer to work. Both have their place, but I don't know. Perspective works for me. So it'll probably work for you too. So let's see. So the next thing we need to do is we need to add a seat to it. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna import an animation. Um, I have to remember where that is. One second, I just need to figure out where that is. Give me just a minute. Okay, that took me longer than I would like to admit, but I did find it. So now we're going to import this animation. You can just drag and drop it from wherever it is into Unity, and it will put it here. So here's our animation. I did get this off of Mixamo. There aren't any animation creators really in SineSpace yet. Hopefully we'll get some soon, but I did get this from Mixamo for the time being. So what you're going to do is you're going to change this rig to humanoid, and you're going to hit apply. And then you're going to wait for that. Okay, so you're going to go to the animation panel in your inspector, and then you're going to go, we're going to rename this to Sleeping Idle. Um, we're going to leave that. We're going to loop it. We're going to put on loop time. I am going to bake into the pose the transformation, the position, and the transform position. That's just a preference of mine. I don't want the avatar to move around too much. It's a little bit more Second Life-esque. Then I am also going to come down here. I'm going to change this to the 2015 female model, and I'm going to press apply again to apply all of these settings to this animation. So, okay. So next what you're going to do is you're going to go here to your item in the hierarchy. You're going to right click it and you're going to click create an empty child. And you're going to add a component which is your seat position. And you're going to see this green box. And so you'll see it says game object. We're going to rename this to seat sleep. And then we're going to come here to the animation and we're going to drag this file, this with the play button, we're going to drag that into the animation slot right here. And you'll see this green person appear. This is the avatar. This is where the avatar will be whenever it's being used. So we're just going to go ahead and position it about right there. Let's see. Okay. She'll be fine. Okay, so then we're gonna press play just to test it. Um, Fun note, it does lag at first, but I don't know. Once you hit play a few times in your session, it starts happening really fast. So you'll see that there's this tag. These do appear in SineSpace, so you'll just press this. Let's see if it works. Is she resting? Oh. She's a tired girl, okay? It's been a long day at work. Her clothes don't fit. Her boss told her to put on this outfit that was way too tight. But she's resting now. Okay, so that's working. So, yay. Claps for us. We've got an animation in there. Now, I don't like those tags. So, I found the best way to do that is to go to Game Object up here. We're going to create a 3D object. We're going to create a cube. We're going to take this cube and put it like right here. We're going to press R to rescale it. And we're going to put it like this. I am going to delete the cube mesh renderer and the mesh renderer component. Just leave on the transform and the box collider component. I'm going to drag that into here to be a child of my brownwood bed. I'm going to name this seat physics. And so I'm going to go back here to my child, and over here you'll see action tag optional. I'm going to put the location override. I'm going to drag that seat physics there, and I'm going to drag this seat physics into add collider to hide tag. So now whenever we play it, um, it will be less like there's a tag and more like Second Life, where it's almost like there's an Invisiprim that you just click and sit on. There is a multi-pose system in the game that is somebody has scripted. I've tried it. I do think it's going to work. I just didn't want to show it in this tutorial because I don't really have a full understanding of it yet. So I just didn't want to explain something that I can't. So, okay. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this ready for export to SineSpace because she's good. She's ready. Okay, so she's all set and good to go. So we're going to select the item in the hierarchy. We're going to go to the room furniture script. Just make sure that place on floor is selected. You could choose walls or ceiling if you have items that are going to go on the walls or the ceiling. But I'm just going to choose place on floor for this because we don't need ceiling beds in SineSpace yet. Maybe in the future. Then you're going to come down here to your virtual goods script. You're going to select a category. So for this, I'm choosing furniture and then bed. You can't see all the store categories in here. Um, and then I named it the Brown Steph Bed Infinite. There is a 32 character limit for this item name, so we're just keeping it a little short there. I put a description in, I put what brand it is, and so now detail, I don't really mess with this. There's like loading modes, and I don't need to set a rating or anything. It's just a bed with a sleeping animation. Then you could come over here to pricing. I did price this at 150 gold. Silver, I put at -1. That means that it's not available to be sold for silver. Silver is like a promotional currency. Everybody gets like 30,000 when they sign up that they can spend frivolously. But this item in particular, I just don't want it to be available for silver. Um, and then you can also choose allow use in promotions. This will allow SineSpace to put it up for promotions on sales and stuff. If they decide to have like a sale in the shop, you can just they'll take care of it for you, and they'll go ahead and set it to a discount. So I'm going to put this at a 50% discount for promotions that they might have. Then you're going to come over here to your icons. I do already have an icon made for my brand icon. Um, it says take screenshots to auto-generate icons, but I don't know. This setting for some reason isn't working. Um, for the moment, I'm just gonna drag these because I haven't made icons for this yet, and I'm not gonna do that in this tutorial. But so I'm just gonna drag these there because you do need icons to upload it. Well, you don't, but you should. And then you're gonna come over here to author, the developer name. I'm gonna put Infinite Furniture. And I'm just going to put infinite furniture here too. And so then upload. I don't ever mess with anything like this. So you're all set in your virtual goods script. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to our folder where we have the bed in our assets, and we're going to drag this. We're going to take this from the hierarchy, and we're going to put it in here. We're going to select original prefab. So now that's selected. Now if we double click on this, we'll get it in a different view where we know that we're selecting just this. So now all that you have to do is you just right click it and you select upload to SineSpace. You upload the item. So you do want to save your scene. So I'm just going to save this as projects, Steph Bed tutorial. And so it's going to package everything. It's going to package the textures and everything, and then it's going to upload it to SineSpace. So now the next step that you're going to do is you're going to check it out on the preview grid. So, but first, we're just going to make sure that it appeared at curator.sign.space. We're going to go to items, and you'll see it'll say processing. Now this will change at some point to staging, and that's whenever you'll be able to see it on the preview grid. And so I will be back in a little bit. It does take about 15 to 20 minutes for things to go from processing to staging in order for you to see them in world. So I am going to be right back and whenever this gets to staging so that we can look at it in world and finish this up. Great news, it went to staging, so we're ready to go on to the next step. So now that it's on staging, we're going to come over here to SineSpace. I did log into the preview server. You do need to, there's like a checkbox that says preview server login at the bottom, and there's a separate tutorial on how you get access to the preview server. You have to fill out your information, etc. But so we're in the preview server. Everything comes to the preview server before it goes to live SineSpace. Um, I have beautiful wings here, whatever. So we're just going to make sure it works. So we're going to go to our inventory, furniture, and we're going to refresh our inventory. So there's our item. It's 5.42 megabytes, which isn't so bad. The average person, the free account gets 128 megabytes, so 5.42, that's not bad for a bed, I would say. It would probably be more if it had more animations and stuff in it. But so let's see. And if you want that number to go down, you can always go back into Unity and you could say compress your textures or something like if we came to the bed and we went to the textures, like I could come here and I could set this texture to be a 512 and compress it if I wanted. So let's go to edit room and let's just make sure that it's working. So we're gonna now that we're in edit room, we're gonna click on it and we're gonna place it and we're gonna exit edit mode, save the room, and then we're just gonna click on it to sit and we're gonna see that the animation is working just as it was in the Unity engine like we want it. So it's all good. And even in the preview server, it does show you a test vision of the store as well. So we can just make sure that it is listed in the store properly. So if we come here, we can see that everything is exactly how we want it. So that should about do it. That is how you upload something into SineSpace from Second Life. There is a couple of steps that you need to take. Hopefully this video has helped you. I hope it has. I even figured out how to combine the videos into more. So if you watched this, you watched it as one complete video. That's great. And one other good thing to mention, and one reason why I save these items like this is revert is because you could double click on this and now you can come in here and you can actually modify this. Uh, and if you re-upload this to SineSpace, if you change anything, say I changed the textures or something, if I re-uploaded this to SineSpace, it would change every copy of that version in the game. So if I wanted to add more animations later on, I could do that or anything that I wanted. So we're all set. So I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you can get into ScienceSpace and get some fabulous things created because these shaders are beautiful. Thanks. Bye.